Hello, everybody. Good evening. Dr. Rao here. I'm going to present something today. It's called Proactive Wellness by A Pal. Our initiatives about that. See, as a matter of fact, I always talk about proactive wellness with clinic and my colleagues and my friends because I'm not just satisfied to fix somebody who is sick. I will do that first thing because he comes to us with some kind of discomfort, right? So we will definitely do that. But then beyond that, we kind of cater to how you can be well for the long time. That's what we really focus on. So I made a video on that. What are the BAPAL morning hour and how we do the. Uh, I hope you can get access to that. It is on the YouTube channel of mine. I pasted it in my clubhouse. I don't know how to paste in the Wisdom app. I see Daryl there. Maybe Daryl can help me with that, so that I can post my videos here too, so that my friends at Wisdom can see them and suggest me what they think about that. Okay, but basically, proactive wellness is going to take a lot more significance as we go into the future because with the nanotechnology, with genome therapy, microbiome, personalized medicine, and lots of things coming up on the tech area are going to really encourage personalized medicine and really giving people a lot of tools so that they can remotely monitor their health, right? In conjunction with the clinic they used to do, but you don't really have to have that. You can with the AI, with the chat GPT giving you information, you can regulate your chronic diseases, not regulate, you can monitor much better and also seek medical help much sooner, and you really you can escape a lot of problems. That's what I mean. Okay, that's what I'm focusing on too. Proactively, you got to maintain your wellness. Proactively, you take into considerations for some things that may manifest down the line. You can do interference now. Okay, that's what I want to reach with. Molecular biology, um, cameras on the drugs. You can actually take a pill with a camera that will go and seek cancer cells and go attack them. See, wonderful things are going to come, but at the same time, I'm also very much not to do medications too much, right? Instead, use the medication appropriately and also take them off when you don't need them. Okay, but some of the biggest problem we have in the country is polypharmacy, and that is also given so mechanically. We are making people really get used to that, right? And then the bodies get tolerance and then addicted to them, and later on interactions, side effects, and adverse effects. So we are really losing battle with being free from the medications. As you go into 60s, 70s, you're loaded up with a lot of medications. And I know some of the patients that I kind of dealt with, they choose between eating and the drugs because they don't have money and the drugs are so expensive, and they make them drug dependent. So they can. So, for example, a diabetic is there, and he has to take insulin because his blood sugars are very high, and he's not doing other things like diet control or exercise and meditation, all those, which I kind of make my patients do, apart from taking medications and all that. Simple diet connection lots of times and moving about and really walking will help a diabetic a lot, right? Then you can at least cut down the dose of insulin or the dose of medications that he's taking, right? That saves a lot of money for him, right? So, hi Hector, come on in. So it's a for entrepreneur also. My friend Hector just came up. We talk about entrepreneurship all the time. Having all the resources going to the medications versus his small business make a difference. I had patients who were truck drivers, who are really small business owners down the line, coffee shop, and all those people. They used to tell me how costly it was for the insulin, and they have to choose between the food and the insulin. And so we used to talk to the companies to bring the free samples. They used to supply at least few months. But now we have, hi Ganesh, welcome. So it's a question of choosing what we need, what we want to spend the money on, right? That kind of thing. So I tried very hard to help them really identify the lifestyle changes that maybe helping will help them if they can adopt them. So spending the time knowing the patient and gaining their trust, having the rapport, and finding the lifestyle changes, all those took some time, but it was worth it. Luckily, I own my practice. I own everything in my practice. So I was able to spend as much time as I want with my patient. I not under the insurance companies to, of course, I paid, but then they can't tell me 17 minutes for a patient. I believed in giving as much time as the patient wants so that he will understand clearly what's going on with him, and he will understand what is his homework, what is he has to do, all that, right? All the things, the diet and exercise, everything I used to spend time. But then subsequent visits, oh, I didn't have to spend that much time. Okay. And also, we had another rule in the we did get money for that, but then we asked the patients to follow with us either by fax or email or some of the apps we have. We told them to communicate with the clinic, and also we have some remote things that we did with the patients that they could take the blood pressure at home, and that is recorded in our EMR here or patient portal. So we use several kind of imaginative, inventive techniques to make sure the patient has us as contact every time he wants it. So I never believed that episodic visits when the patients come, we kind of spend time. I believed in continuous touch with the clinic, with our nursing staff, with all these people, right? So we had health coaches with the nurses, so they always sit down with my patients, and if something like a he takes weight at home, that weight is deflected in our ER and it falls outside the range he should be in. Immediately we gave him a call and found out what was going on. Maybe he took loaded up on the sodium, a bag of chips, and a lot of edema. That's why his weight is going up. Then we could adjust his diuretics or we could adjust his diet, things like that. Simple things on a daily basis, if you monitor, then it will be very good. This is what I'm talking about here is you can be that monitoring and be proactive about several diseases. Of course, if you have a genetic problem, you have really everything is manifesting, that's a different matter. But if you have lifestyles induced disease, many of them are like that: blood pressure, diabetes, COPD, and heart disease. So many of these are like that. Many people come with infections, then I'll help them to understand why the infection is happening, what is going on with his immunity, what is he doing that is lowering his immunity, and is there something we can do? Suppose somebody is very anxious about how whatever work they are doing, and we can help them to relieve the stress. Maybe we'll teach them measures to relieve the stress. Simple things: deep breathing, walking, and not being occupied with this all the time, but just do the stuff, physical stuff. That kind of things help them a lot. So, hi Ganesh, how are you?
Om Namaskar, I'm good. How are you
Okay.
doing?
Yeah, I haven't seen you lately, so I'm glad you came up here. So, So this proactive wellness is something I made this movie. It's only 7 minutes, I think. I think my friends will see that probably. That What I'm promoting in the BA Pal is I do what's called an hour of awareness in the morning in my wellness club. The wellness club is not just doing the exercise. We do that anyway. That's a given, right? But apart from that, how can we give you some traits, some things that you can carry into your work, into your stress, whatever you are going to do, right? So I teach people to spend that hour in awareness, in the present, cultivate that, and then so I don't to have discussions in the beginning, but only at the end of the hour they can ask me questions and otherwise we focus on being in the present, taking deep breaths, observing what's going on with our body and mind and all that, so it's a kind of practice, right? You won't get it, you'll understand what it is, but you won't get the habit unless you do it, right? Anybody understands what is to be present, but are you being present? That's a question that you can do when you go to the work, when you do. If you are thinking something and doing something, then you are not in the present. But if you are paying complete attention to what's going on with whatever work, whatever play, whatever conversation, whatever book you're reading, your complete attention should be there. That's what I train. That's why I call that an hour of awareness, being here and now. Okay. And then deep breathing helps in other way where people normally are very reactive, they impulsively react. Hi, Angel, welcome. So it's a kind of, without them knowing, they just react. Because when you wound up, when you have sympathetic stimulation overly, that's what happens in our present culture anywhere. People are afraid, people are tensed up and all that. Okay, then you have this sympathetic nervous system stimulation, thinking that you have a danger, fight or flight syndrome, right? So that is going on unchecked is not good. But on the other hand, if you involve your parasympathetic nervous system, that will allay that sympathetic overload and you can prevent the stress being built up. And for that is vagus nerve stimulation, which is deep breathing, right? So I allow my students to develop and get that habit in the morning. And also there are so many ways I show them deep breathing you can do, but simple deep breathing also is fine. Then take a minute every hour and just forget about everything that's going on and focus on deep breathing, whereby you kind of nullify all that sympathetic overload, right? So that's a simple thing that I kind of teach people to do that. Or if you are driving and if you have to stop in front of the red light, remember and just do the deep breathing. That's that kind of make it a habit for you to get into through the day. I do it several days, but then I do very advanced deep breathing too because I'm a big student of the pranayama. Probably for ordinary people, I may look like a master, but I still know how depth this science of breath is. And I know BK Sayangar at one time suggested a course that takes 512 weeks to learn it. So you can imagine how deep this science is. One thing about the breathing is abhi karo abhi pao. In Hindi, we say that you do it now and you get the results now. So you can enjoy all the good things about that right away. So that's why it's a cheap, no cost, and also makes you feel good at the end of it, and also helps you improve your hormones that help you with the stress. Not the stress hormones, but the nullifying things, right? So that's something I recommend everybody to do that. And other thing I practice, maybe people can check it out because this is the age of information overload. We kind of put in all the information in our head, right? So that's the you got to learn paying attention to something, using information to do stuff, right? We need that. But then don't carry that information along with you unconsciously. That is where this cyclical thought happens, and you will be repeating the same thought again and again, and then it goes into your subconscious and forms a neuronal path which is going to come out. So don't do that. What you do is, for me, this is what I cultivate with the patient. I see a patient, I deal with the information, I have to read his chart in the EMR, I have to make decisions, I have to do flagging and all that, right? But there's so many ways we use the EMR that will help me with a lot of mundane things, a lot of things that I don't have to worry about. The alerts are there. So I put a lot of time in constructing my desktop. So EMR actually works as an assistant for me. So I easily all the information is sorted out, and I don't have to carry it in my mind, right? Only when I'm seeing the patients, when I'm seeing the data, I make decisions. After that, so many mechanisms are kicked in that will take care of itself. So immediately, X-ray was read by the radiologist, and he will tell us, okay, there's a suspicion of this and all that. The nurse will take it up immediately because it goes to her red flag. Okay, all my instructions are like that. So, like a PRN medications, for example, there are a few of them I will give them, and they can give those medications like a Tylenol, like a simple things for the patient as needed. But also there are some restrictions there too. So what I'm saying is, don't try to load the information unnecessarily within you. There is a way to discriminate. We call this Vivek in Sanskrit. Give the discrimination to your whoever is helping you, whoever is working under you, they can have that too. That way you can relieve your mind accumulating a lot of kind of a delegate, right? And then you don't have to carry. What I do is, after I'm done with it something, immediately I empty that from my mind. That's a technique I can teach you, and you have to be at it for a long time. It depends upon how you had been till now, how cyclical you had been, how um, conscious about your own thinking and all that. That's a very important. This is a deeper aspects of meditation. Once you understand, then you will know how to use the initial stages and then how to go to the root of it. All that. Okay, it's all there in the ancient wisdom. All the techniques of different meditations are there. Okay. The other thing is, be quiet. Try to be quiet as much as possible. Mauna, we call it, right? Silent. Well, that mauna is the biggest thing that we need to achieve. Once we have that, mauna doesn't mean just to shut up and don't say anything, but then in the mind you're going on repeating something. Mauna is where you feel you don't have to speak out anything. You are silent from within, right? That's a very difficult thing, but then I'm fortunate that I had gained it. And then my thing is like this: I am silent most of the day, and I use thought consciously. So that is the decision. Be with a silent mind and use conscious thought. This can be taught. Okay, so this is also something I usually tell them: be in the present. This 1 hour you are practicing with me in the morning, and then take that like a perfume through the day, and in the evening try to empty it again. Suppose you have accumulated a lot of things without you knowing. Things are moving, things are pretty fast. Some days I used to be in 16, 17 meetings a day. Okay, because of the leadership role, EMR, I'm in that physician advisory team, and I'm in the several committees, library committee, medical records committee. So many responsibilities are there, and also patients, relatives, patients, insurance agents. So many people want to talk to us. So we talk a lot and we communicate a lot with a lot of people out of necessity. But then you can protect your mind, your brain from the excess unnecessary information, and also learn to be quiet in between. So I go to a meeting. I don't know to talk right from the beginning. Even though I'm leading, I may say, okay, calling the meeting to order. And then I'll say, okay, these are the agenda already there. And then we pick it up, and then we main presenters or somebody. If I am the one, I will do that. Otherwise, I prefer to wait till everybody talked so I can practice mauna during the meeting. But listening to people. I don't have to speak about everything. Then I absorb what they are talking about. And usually that style worked. Listen everybody and then speak at the end and quote everybody's point. Then they know I was listening to them. I was not just staying there, but I was just being silent with them. Okay. These are all the gifts that ancient rishis gave to me. So I'm always talk about highly of them because they have taken a big root into the mastishk, they call, that is our inner medha, maskish. All those are several roots of the mind that they have investigated and then found what is the most efficient way to do this, right? So anyway, be like that during the day. And at the end of the day, come home and empty your mind. So all these are taught in the BA Pal LLC detail because everybody is different. Some people are pretty easygoing. Some people are really feel a lot about insults and all that. Some people so overwhelmed with the insults or challenges or attacks at the workplace, and some people are addicted to phones and most of the people are addicted to the phones and other things, right? I can leave it alone and be very happy without it. So all those things you have to learn. Okay. So this Be a Pal, the morning wellness club, is something I'm inviting people to come and join. It's a monthly membership, and then it's not just joining, but also make a commitment to come and do them in sequence, several days in a month. The whole membership is for the entire month, but some people cannot come because of the work and all that. But then I also have a Conquer Burnout is the name of the Facebook group, and usually they can submit questions and anything there for me, and sometimes I come there live, and we talk about several issues. We also do a satsang. Satsang means association of good people, where we kind of talk about the issues as they come up. Most of the people who come to me are having some problem of not able to cope up with the pressures and stresses and burnout that they have. There are independent courses for them that people come, that's different. But then if they have the small things and all that, I try to introduce them several concepts and educate them, give them resources that they can use. Okay. So I'm now really advertising it because I've seen a lot of people got benefit out of that. For me, it's all pleasure and fun and happiness. But then for them, sometimes it's important, right? They have to be able to concentrate on the job. They have to be able to sleep well. They have to protect their wealth, health, and all that, right? So it's a serious business for us. So we take it that way and then help them that way. Okay. So try to see that movie, which is only 7 minutes, and then let me know what do you think about it. That way, I can add or delete or clarify things for you. Okay, go to my YouTube at Ravu Kolusu. Okay, simple. And then I don't usually don't ask people to come and join and all that. But if you want to see the videos I have some 600 videos there. They were put there for a long time. So if you want to explore topics, you can explore them there. Okay, they're all free there, and then you can easily see them. Okay, uh, so that's what I want to. There are people on here on the wisdom. Let me see. Daryl is there, John Bush, Kiara, Greg, Mark Salzman. So if you have any questions, you can come up and ask me, obviously. So, this is a commitment I gave to some of my friends on the LinkedIn, right? We were talking about it, and there were some few people were gathering into a group, right? And then we were talking about stuff like this, and they were very interested in what I had to say because they're all entrepreneurs. They have 3, 4 businesses, and then they were having problems of that need enhancement. So I did talk to them about human enhancement. I do wellness enhancement of the body and enhancement of your mind, treating it one aspect and increasing the capacity of the mind, the quality of the mind, the way you use them, and then the way you succumb to it. All those things are there. So I call the enhancement the human being, where body and mind is the human part of it, and there's the spirit being. That is where I think I really highly value ancient probing into ourselves and really enhancing our being without the religious context at the time. Later on, things have come, and the religions also have borrowed a lot of wisdom from the earlier ages, and they are made it like a regular daily affair. For example, I'm brought to temples in India, and we were told about putting both our hands at the heart level and then doing that namaste. That has so much meaning. That means that divinity is within me and divinity opposite. Hi, Sanya. So I'm kind of prostrating to the person who is opposite. Namaste, Sanya. So that's she also knows about it. She's my student too. So we teach this. There were so many. Agastya Muni. He lived up to um, several years. I believe they used to live a long time. Average is 120 years. So he kind of made so many wisdom routines into everyday life. See, and then people were able to do that. For example, you see a lot of people in India, they wear a mark or kumkum, we call it, vermilion. Okay? They put it on the middle of the forehead. That is corresponding directly to the pituitary and hypothalamus, which is the master of all the secretory glands. Also, we call it as a third eye. Okay, when you have a perceptive mind opened up beyond your cognition, beyond your chattering mind, then you see things much more differently. So there's tremendous amount of insight into that wisdom, and that was introduced to regular routines that people can follow and get benefited. So studying that was a thrill because the latest people may not have that, but then if they want to, they can go and learn it, and then you can. There's nothing like you can't live with modern medicine and also ancient wisdom. Those are things I kind of gather together. Okay. So, anything else you guys want to ask a question or comment? Ganesh, you have anything?
I was hearing you. It was great.
Any comments or questions?
Good to know your routine. Questions as such as the dietary, I followed it.
Okay.
It did benefit me. But an Eka Bukta stage I have not yet reached.
Yeah.
I reached this 2 times.
Mm.
And yes, definitely it is helping.
Yeah.
I don't get acidity issues nowadays.
Yeah,
if I
good.
don't eat in the after 7, if I don't eat, I'm not getting acidity issues at all.
Good. Yeah, see
so
the
benefit I'm getting.
Yeah, the circadian rhythm is 12 hours, it changes, right? And once you have that under your control, and it's like you don't want to listen to the signals of hunger and everything and then feed it whenever it wants. That's when you lose the control. But if you have that control, and then that will be listening to you, the circle. But it takes some time. But once we put up with it, that's it. It will listen to that. That's why I've recently I heard some lectures by a yogi. He's 106 years old. But if you look at him, He looks like a 50-year-old maybe, the flat stomach, sitting upright, walking very briskly, and talking with clarity. And I was so impressed with him. He's 106. He is born in 1919, I believe, 1919, and now he's still alive. Not just alive, but really contributing a lot. So when I see those kind of people, I'm bowled over. So they're actual people talking, and he taught me a lot of good things too lately. So I'm very happy about that. Where did Sonia disappear?
So this Ekavukta thing he taught you?
No, no, no. It was there in the yogic folklore long time ago, and I learned it way back in maybe 30 years ago, probably. So basically, this is what they say. Uh, if you are if you are a yogi, you are ekabhukta. If you are a bhogi, you can be dvibhukta or tribhukta. But if it's tribhukta, you can be a rogi too. That's why don't eat it unless time, but then eat it after your body demands it. There is a signal from the cellular mechanism all the way to digestive organs. So assimilation of the food that is digested happens much better because you kind of put like a traction, right? You are hungry because the body is indicating your cellular level is requiring nutritional support. So that's why it's getting a signal, and then as you make it wait for it, when it is available, the absorption will be much faster, much better. That's why if you really take the yogic way of life, you will see most of the food that you have eaten is kind of absorbed. You produce very little waste in your stools and all that. And also lots of times it won't have that bad smell like a non-yogi has. There's so many benefits at the cellular biology by being hungry, uh, not to the extent where you're a diabetic, you become hypoglycemic, not that, because they have a disordered cellular biology there. But if you are normal, if you are really don't have that severe illness of these chronic illnesses, then you could tolerate hunger for a while, so that you are really ravenously appetite, and then you start to eat slowly, chewing, and then the chyme, the enzymes that are, we know this, it starts in the saliva, and then they go into the gastric and all that, right? Then the chyme is really already done in the mouth, that makes you to absorb the food much faster into bloodstream from the stomach. Stomach doesn't have to work that much for the chyme and all that, right? Once you have broken down into very small particles in the mouth and in the stomach, they're absorbed into the blood, and they go pretty fast from blood into the cells, and then they're operated on. And then a lot of saliva secreted by eating slowly also helps you to fill the stomach, because stomach has to have some stretch, then only it will have a satisfied feeling. There's a cycle up to 20 minutes, right? From the time you begin to be really hungry to the time you stop eating, well, like 20 minutes. If it is already done with a little food going in, but more of saliva, not the water, more the saliva going in, that will fill the stomach to the extent where it will have a stretch. And that stage, if you eat a lot of food, that's the problem, right? A lot of people sit down and then within 5 minutes they eat a lot of quantity of food. Then the stomach gets used to that kind of heavy food inside the stretch and all that. Then it will have the what's called satiety, the feeling of satisfaction. Whether you eat it or not, it will happen in 20 minutes. So if you eat pretty fast, then you are not doing yourself a service. Okay, these intricacies are there, and some of them are science, some of them are from the ancient wisdom. I'm not saying their beliefs and all. They kind of found out a lot of things by experiment on it. So what you do is you kind of understand this and behave like that, and it may need training because you are used to um, some things in the long run. Some may be right, some may not be right. Okay, but when the Agastya Muni put this into regular daily routines, he didn't have to sit down and explain everything. He didn't have the distribution of so many. Actually, they used to teach everything by speaking to people. That's why the first step in the wisdom is Shravanam. That means listen, because somebody is talking about it. They didn't have widespread, distribution of books and all that in the initial stage, but later it has become like that. So it's a question of now we can read a lot of these ancient secrets in English, which I did like that, right? And then also I was fascinated by the Sanskrit, and then I got into Sanskrit. It is much better, right, than reading in English. Okay, so Sanskrit is a beautiful, beautiful language. It can be expressed in so many ways, and it has the some expressions we cannot find it in English. Okay, I love English. I always loved English from the childhood, but I really regret they did not teach us Sanskrit from the childhood, because that is something probably I would support a project that they are teaching Sanskrit in India. I'm looking for them, but I will be supporting because I want kids to know Sanskrit. I think that would be wonderful. And reading the ancient treatise, the literature in Sanskrit would be wonderful. Even now we can learn a lot. So, all right. I think I was almost. I'm here up to 37 minutes. I think now I can stay here for a few more minutes. Uh, okay, Sanya is in Wisdom app. Okay, I thought you were on the Clubhouse, Sanya. Maybe she has some problems being heard on this Clubhouse, probably. So go and see that movie and let me know what you feel about it, and I will see
Which
you.
movie you are talking about? Can you just repeat it?
The one I put it here. You can see this video.
Yeah, I already seen it.
Yeah, that's the one. There are people on the Wisdom app. I'm talking to them also. So, um, it gives you some idea about what I'm trying to do in the BA PAL and why the proactive wellness is important. You see, if you are at one time, it is like this. If the physician are there and they will wait for you to come to the clinic to see. So you come every 3 months and then they look at you, they give you something, and then they forget about you. That's it. When next time come also, you have to pay and do that. But later on, it evolved into, okay, let's make them well and all that. So they got this preventive health care where they check your bowels so often, they check your breast so often, cervix, things like that, right? Preventive. We all know about it. That's not enough. That's what I'm saying. With our communication technology and with our knowledge of when the disease process starts and mushrooms and comes to real events where you pay for it, right? So if suppose you are born in a family like my own state in India, we eat a lot of white rice, and that also a lot of white rice with a little pickle, little curry, and little yogurt, and all. That's a standard staple diet, right? And that damn white rice is so tasty. So you cannot get away from it. So culturally, and at home, moms and all, they are feeding that. But if you look at it, every generation was dying of the diabetes because they're eating wrongly. They're eating for the taste, but they're not really paying attention to nutrition. Now, if you are enlightened, if you are awake, then you would know this is not good. This is like a poison for us, for the diabetics. So you can easily change to brown rice, which is rich in um, protein and also fiber. So it will take a long time for it to break down and to eat. After you eat, it takes long time for it, so it stays on. So even me, I eat more like a oatmeal and brown rice. That also rice, little curries more, and yogurt. That kind of intelligent way of living, you won't have the diabetes, and you also walk and you be functionally active and all that, right? And also for me, the silence, the um, the no chatter in my mind, all that helps a lot. Also, if you are at the level of self-realization, then that's the highest healthy state where you don't have any stress hormones coming on, but rather, even if you encounter a situation that is pretty easily producing stress state in other people, you may not have that because uh, that is called sthita pragnata. You're going to be stable in wisdom during the attacks of life. Like whatever things happen, you will take them equally, right? Like we call it prasada of the Bhagwan. So prasada means offering from the Bhagwan. You cook something, go and give it to him, and then in the temple they give you back as prasada, as being blessed by the Lord. So what happens is whatever that is, if you know if you don't like, some people may not like a certain fruit that was given to you, but if it says prasada, they will take it with a lot of reverence, respect, and they are very happy that they got it. Right? So a lot of people are fed like that. So you can be very healthy by understanding your inner mechanism of thought, emotion, and your movement of thought. That's the main thing, right? So that is that you don't have to use unnecessarily. You use it consciously, and then done with it, put it away. Right? So these are all important things to consider. But in the modern life, because so much data, so much information comes to us and unwanted lots of times, right? The press it, you want to buy this, sell this, and all that, right? So you are exposed to that. So uh, like I was telling Agastya Muni, what he put in there. So they had this: you get up in the morning, you pray. That means you are not going to go after the material things right away, but you remember the divinity and all that, right? And in the evening, you light up a lamp that is like a trying to get rid of your ignorance with the light of this gnana, this wisdom, right? And then you kind of sing songs in the name of the Lord and then sleep. Like a, all these people do it here too. So anyway, I think I was going to be here for 30 minutes. It's more than that, I believe now. Okay. So thank you, and I will see you again tomorrow. Enjoy that movie and let me know what you think about it. Okay. Okay, Ganesh. Nice seeing you. Okay. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.